Very well thought out and super clean. So I think it's really nice. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to be looking at this magnificent kit by Meng. It's the Ford GT40. Now this is a Mark II. So let's have a closer look at this. Now it's not the first time that a big kit of the GT40 has come out. So this is 1/12 scale, I should say. There's already been a Trumpeter kit which came out some years ago, and then that was released last year, sort of in conjunction with the Ford versus Ferrari movie. It got delayed. Could have had something to do with licensing, maybe because these guys jumped into it and got full licensing for Ford. They got re-released as a, I can't remember what they called the brand now, but they had a different brand and re-released it. Just called it US Sports Car. But this one here is the Meng, fully licensed by Ford, so fully official. Super nice brand new kit of the Ford GT40. Now, a very iconic car. Now, if you've seen the movie or you know a bit about the history, the amazing shape. The car itself was designed in England. It was built by Lola, and then it moved over to the US when Ford wanted to compete in the majors and get into Le Mans and beat Ferrari. So they needed the help of Shelby to get the car sorted out. His team did a very, very good job. Great drivers, and they managed to win and beat Ferrari in the end for a number of years. So GT40, I guess some of the interesting things about it is the name. So the 40 comes from being 40 inches tall from the ground to the roofline. So it is a very low car. It's quite a small car with a huge, massive engine in it, which the Americans do very, very well. Okay, let's open it up and have a closer look. Now, if you've seen some of the earlier videos I've done on some unboxings, now I unboxed a Fujimi Skyline a little while back. So this is in a similar sort of vein to that. It's not a really complicated miniature thousands of bits kit. What they've done is they've used a sort of Bandai Fujimi sort of die-cast type of idea, and this is actually a pressed together kit, but an incredibly good one at that. So it's got opening panels, opening doors, engine bay, bonnet. So to be able to do that, it uses a lot of screws pressed together, so it can be manipulated after you're finished with it. Okay, let's pull out some bits, have a closer look. All right, let's do the bodywork a bit later, I guess. All right, so got this bit of black. Let's hold it over here, it's probably easier to see. So you've got a multicolor parts. So you've got the bits of the front spoiler, air ducts, instrumentation for inside of the cockpit. You've got the dashboard, which is just here. As you can see, really, really clean molded parts. For something that's pressed together, it doesn't look basic. Okay, you've got the belt and some pulleys here for the engine. Got some fans. Let's see on this side as well. Let's see how clean it is. So you can see how it's a little bit chunkier than you would probably expect, but that's not a bad thing. So it's going to be very, very robust after it's finished. Okay, so we've got that. All right, we've got a selection of chrome bits. So you've got engine covers. You've got the spin-off hubs, which is interesting to watch. I mean, if you see the actual car going into the pits and the guys are just spinning these off to get the wheels off, it's amazing. And they got various sort of levers, and you got this is the rear vision mirror. And then that was also the bezels for the instruments for the cockpit. So really clean chrome, very smooth, because sometimes chrome can be a bit thick and look a bit disasterly, but this is really good, very nice. I guess one thing that would be handy, I mean, if you're just using the chrome as is, when you trim it off, just have a multi pin, just to clean it up, and it'll look seamless. Okay, so there's your chrome bits. Let's move on to what do we got here? We've got the clear bits. Obviously, clear bits going to be really hard to see. So let me just feel it out. So I've got a front windscreen here. Front windscreen, side windows, C-pillar windows, and some headlight covers. Okay, they're just in that pack there. Pop that there. All right, tyres. Tyres are quite interesting. Okay, so you can see the tread patterns. Really, really fine tread. So obviously the thicker ones are your rear tyres. These ones here are the front tyres. And then you've got this weird tiny spare tyre, which was kept in the front panel of the car. Didn't really realise it was so small, it's tiny. But I guess, you know, as long as you got stuff in there, it'll be able to limp back. And then on the sides, so sidewalls, actually clean. So I'm guessing, actually they're clean. I was thinking they might have some Goodyear on them, but these are as is. So nice, really fine detail there. Okay, moving on, we've got some more black bits. So let's put that here again. All right, you got your steering wheel. That gives you a good idea of how big 12 scale is. Quite sizable. You've got some covers here. You've got some hosing for the engine bay. These are inside door panels. So interesting, they're sort of semi-gull type shape, but they're open standard. So just swing open. And then you've got parts of the chassis as well, and drive system. So you've got universal drive shafts there, some shocks, got some push rods. Okay, let's move on to this side. All right, so we've got all the exhaust system. So got the interesting shapes here because they all came out of the engine, and then they met. This is the junction here, where they become the single pipes. The single pipes that come out. Super clean. And it's nice also the connecting points. So they're actually squared. So when you put them together, they'll be perfectly aligned. No guesswork involved. Okay. Over here we've got some silver bits. Okay, so this part here, this is actually part of the seats. So this is showing the rivet detail on the seat. This gets pressed in from the back. I think that's the same here. So you can see that as well. So that's a very Bandai sort of style of thinking. Got more parts of the car. You've got the disc rotors. So you see how they're two-part. You can see the sort of spiral fan design, which is for the ventilation, and then there's the other part of the disc that slides over the top. So you've got the two bits there for the discs. Various push rods, most likely for the steering system and the suspension. And then you've got engine parts, anti-roll bar, and various parts for underneath the chassis. So this is probably the kick plates that go inside the cockpit. Okay, let's go over here. All right, so we've got a little bag here. 4 screws. So you've got a screwdriver. You've got cable there for getting, I guess it's more like tubing, for the spark plug leads. Spring for the suspension. Then back over here you see a few rods. So looks like a big steering column there in the center. And then other pins, probably for the suspension. So this is where they're getting a lot of their strength from, the screwed together construction. Okay, let's go on this side. All right, some more silver parts, quite chunky. Okay, various parts of the engine. You've got shock parts in this white section here. So I'd say there would be working suspension because actually the springs are all included. Various bits here. These are probably parts of fuel tanks and radiators. Got bits of air intake. Suspension arms here. See how beefy they are? There's the upper link. Some more arms here. You can see this will be a part where the shocks clip onto. And you see the hinges are really tough. So as I was saying before, how it's quite functional. So yes, simplified a little bit, but as you can see, you got a lot of nice detail. So here you see a bit of the grille. So that will probably be for the front radiator. Okay, I'll pop that over there. All right, coming to this bit. So you got the floor pan. It's the main component here. So you've got slots here for the seats. This will be where the dashboard would go across here. You got your engine bay, and then you got the front end section here. Just on the side. So see how you get your big lugs here. That's how it all presses together. Now, if you wanted it a bit more robust, you can always glue it together. Certain parts you'd probably like to glue it into sub-assemblies. So in case something does come loose or needs fixing, you can always pull it apart and get that fixed. Okay, so this floor pan. All right, here we're getting into engine components. So you've got the crankcase halves here. You've got the top here with the intakes, side parts, top of the cylinders, and there's a sump. On this side, again, you can see the big lugs for pressing it together. Super robust. It doesn't matter that they're so chunky because you're not going to see those bits anyway. Okay. All right, I've got more sort of engineer bits here. You've got the gearbox. You've got gearbox parts here with the driveshaft outputs. This is the back of the engines for where the gearbox connects. You got parts of the hubs for the suspension, so that's probably the rear end. Brake calipers both sides, and then more parts of the engine. All right, what have we got here? We've got some side panels. This is part of the bodywork. So I think these are the side aprons. Fairly chunky bits. And then there's a rear wing as well. Rear wing, you can just see there. So it's more like a gurney flap, really, this thing. There again, Dan Gurney, I think, is one of the drivers, so he came up with the flap idea. So you don't have to have an aerodynamic part for getting more downforce. You just need a bit of a flap to change airflow, and that's it there. Put that there. All right, so there's this punch here. Let's put it over here, it's easier to see. This is actually a soft vinyl-y type of thing. Okay, so that's used for the seats. And again, before I showed you where the rivet sort of detail comes through. So you see all the holes that are in the seats. Those parts were just pressed through from the back. You've got some ignition lines, and then some hosing here. So probably air intake, so you can see how flexible it is. And then you've got boots for the drive shafts. It's quite a nice touch. Really flexy. See? All right, so now there's some silver sort of semi-flexy bits here. So again, you got some lines. So got to do with doing the electrical lines for the engine bay. Good stuff. All right, we're getting into some of the more exciting bits now. So we've got bits of the body coming out. So you've got the rear, you've got the central cockpit area, you've got the nose bonnet, you've got the doors. Very iconic shape. You can see how beefy all these bits are. So, because if you had it really thin, then it'd probably look really scale, but you wouldn't be able to easily manipulate it, because after you build these things, you quite often want to open it up and have a closer look at everything, because this will come up like this. And then, can't remember where there was a hinge, maybe these were hinged like that. And then you've got these smaller panels, so there's a front cover that goes there. Got some air intakes. And actually this is the floor pan. So what we're looking at earlier is the cockpit area there. So this just drops in. It drops in like so. And so that gives you a better idea of the size of the car. Decent size even for a small car. All right, let's put the doors back there again. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of it. All right, we've got the wheels. So you can see you've got wider wheels for the rear. You've got the medium-sized ones there for the front, and then there's a tiny spare which is in the center there. Really nice. I mean, it's amazing how they got the design of the spare to match the drive wheels as well. Okay, from there you've got pre-colored brake lights and pre-colored indicators. So these are some of the similarities that you saw with the Fujimi kit. And then you got some more clear parts here for some access panels. And this part here, which is on top of the engine, is the flute. Okay, then from there, we got, oh, actually, let's look at this one. There's the photo etch bits. So it's quite a heavy photo etch. So nice and stiff, so it's not easily damaged. So you've got some grills here. You've got the radiator mesh, and then we've got seat belt buckles. Nice touch. All right, here, put it over here. So maybe hard to see, but this is a pre-cut section of textured cloth. So this is used for the seat belt. Texture is really good. And it's on self-adhesive backing. There, and then we've got the decals. So there's the main ones here. You can choose between car 1 and car 2. So it's nice, it's got these the red panels there already. You can always paint them too if you like. But then over here, so what I was looking for before, so there's got the Goodyear stickers if you want to put it on the tyres. That's an option. You've got all the dials here for your cockpit. And then there's all these fine pinstripes. Now I'd say they probably go on maybe wheels, I'm guessing. So many of them. And then underneath there, you'll see this white sheet. Can't get it all out there, but I'd say that these are masking for your clear windows. Okay, and from there, you finish off with the manual. Now, I would normally go through the manual, but this one's all sealed up, so we'll leave it as is. But it's super thick, and this one, like all other Meng type models, is really nicely step by step. It'll have some history in there as well about the car. And it's, as you can see, a very, very nice kit. So just by looking at this part here, that's the most representational parts of it. Imagine all these bits are fit inside. You've got this huge, massive American engine in a really low English designed car with Shelby finesse with tuning, and you've got a Le Mans winning car. So this is the Meng GT40 Mk II, 1/12 scale. It's just been released. Very, very nice kit. Pressed together with a lot of screws, so you can open it all up without worrying too much about it breaking apart. Very well thought out and super clean. So I think it's really nice.